Caption close Acajucan, Mexico, AP. For some, Gumado Perez was an experienced reporter who got on well with locals and earned the nickname the Red Man for his coverage of bloody crimes in Veracruz, one of Mexico's deadliest states for journalists and civilians alike. In the eyes of prosecutors, Perez was an alleged drug cartel operative who met a grisly end when he was shot dead December 19 while attending a Christmas party at his 6-year-old son's school in Acajucan, purportedly by gunmen from a rival gang. Either way, the brazen daylight killing underscored the blurred lines nature of how journalism is practiced in much of Mexico, especially in the countryside and in areas where organized crime gangs hold sway over corrupt authorities, terrorize local populations and are largely free to harass and murder reporters with impunity. Reporting in such places often entails writing or uploading photographs to a rudimentary website or Facebook page, or working part-time for a small local media outlet where meager salaries aren't enough to cover expenses. Holding down a second job is essential. Some moonlight as cabbies or run small businesses. Others may work for a local government. And some, it's widely believed, though it is said to be a small minority, go on the payroll of a cartel or a corrupt government. In a country where at least 10 journalists have been killed this year in what observers are calling a crisis for freedom of expression, the risk is especially high for those who operate without editors, company directors, or colleagues who could go to bat for them or steer them to institutions that would protect them. It certainly does make them more vulnerable, said January Albert Hudson, Mexico representative for the New York-based Committee to Protect Journalists. He cited in particular the decapitation murder nearly 3 years ago of Moises Sanchez, another Veracruz reporter, for motives the CPJ has confirmed were related to his work. Sanchez had his own little newspaper which he didn't actually make any money with, so he doubled as a taxi driver and he financed that little newspaper with the money that he made as a taxi driver, Hudson said. So he didn't have any institutional backing. So when he started getting death threats, at that point there's really nobody to back him up. Perez, 34, got his start as a journalist as a young man working for Diario de Acajucan, the local newspaper in the city of the same name. Set in the steamy lowlands of southern Veracruz, near the Gulf of Mexico, the oil-rich region is a hotly contested drug trafficking corridor that today is said to be disputed by the Zetas and Jalisco New Generation cartels. Back then he was a hard-working boy, said the newspaper's deputy director, Cecilio Perez, no relation, who later lost track of him. Over the years, Gumado Perez contributed stories to several local media outlets and helped found the news website La Voz del Surinam. He also began working as a driver, personal assistant and photographer for Acajucan's mayor, although he was not on the government's payroll and it's not clear how he was being paid, said Jorge Morales of the official State Commission for Attention and Protection of Journalists in Veracruz. Mayor Marco Antonio Martinez did not respond to multiple requests to be interviewed for this article.